that's all the tutorials. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. I think it is time to return to Meridian. So there's that one mission that's paused in Pitchcliff. I'm kind of curious about that one. Death from Above quest is paused. Tell me. There's a main quest that leads you to Pitchcliff. Do that first, then come back after it's complete. There you go. I kind of figured it was something like that. All right, so I got all those tutorial missions done, which gave me a nice little bonus bit of experience. But I think now I've completed the side missions. There's a lot more people here than I was expecting. Why are there so many guards? Why are there so... Holy crap, why are there so many of you? Also, there's something to read here. The Liberation. A lengthy scroll of parchment. Oh boy. An official account as scribed by the reckoners of the Sun Priests and marked with the emblems of truth by exacting Varan who witnessed these events. In the 21st year of the 13th Sun King Jiran's reign, the twilight time of his madness, the Sun King's own favored heir was put to death. The Radiant Kataman's crime was to demand an end to his father's acts of bloodshed, and his sacrifice set that end in motion. Jiran's second heir, the Radiant Avad, fled Meridian at dusk with his honor guard, soldiers loyal to him over the Sun King. All night they traveled northwards, knowing that come the dawn they would be branded as traitors and marked for death. So it was that when Jiran made that proclamation, they had already traveled far, and in time they did reach the edge of the Sundom and crossed into Oseram territory. For Avad was canny and planned to negotiate terms with the Oseram. He knew he had an ally among them, Ursa, a fierce Oseram warrior with whom Avad had a long and unusual history. 2 years earlier, Ursa had been brought to Meridian as a captive, destined for sacrifice. But she survived the Sun Ring, killing 2 kestrels by her own hand. Thus did she earn the honor of being made a palace slave, and in this role came to know Prince Avad. A rare friendship was formed, and Avad conspired to free his friend, who returned at once to the Oseram homeland. Now, desperate for allies, Avad sought out the Oseram he had helped to free. Ursa had ties to the warlords and freebooters who resisted the Red Raids. With Ursa's might and Avad's keen strategy, they could raise a warband and move to overthrow Jiran. And as a rightful heir to the throne of the Sun, Avad hoped to inspire many of his people to rebel, so sparing Meridian from a drawn-out war. After months of preparation, Avad and his allies crossed the border and marched on Meridian. As word of their advance spread, many Karja soldiers fled back to the city, laid down their arms, or even joined the liberators. Yet wise Avad knew that Jiran's faithful would defend Meridian to the last man, even sacrificing the lives of its citizens if it would hold the holy city against siege. He found kestrels and city guard already set in on the walls, ready to face arrow and shot, but Avad's Oseram allies had brought new weapons never seen beneath the sun, thundering cannons strong as machines. Avad permitted them to fire their salvos on the outer walls, bringing many defenders down with great carnage. As the smoke cleared, the liberators attacked in 3 groups. One scaled the walls beneath the Temple of the Sun, another took to the aqueducts of the palace, while the main force overcame the barricaded city gates with cannon fire. These were the final blasts fired at the holy city, as Avad forbade any further destruction. In the streets, too many scenes of brutality and chaos played out to recount. Among the terrible miasma of blood and smoke, the Sun Ring's slave pits were opened and hundreds spilled out, desperate to escape. Many of Jiran's supporters seized their chance to flee with this flood of unfortunates. The day had turned, and seeing his forces much reduced, the Sun King Jiran ordered his trusted kestrels take Idamen, his sole remaining heir, from the city. Helis, Terror of the Sun, cleaved a path through Meridian from east to west, striking down all in his way, ally and foe alike. The savagery of Helus and his kestrels could not be matched, and so it was that Itamen, his mother, the Dowager Queen Nasadi, and the High Sun Priest Bahavis escaped. Avad confronted Juran in his solarium. He had hoped his father would answer for his crimes honorably, but seeing this could not be so, with great anguish he struck him down. As the murder of a true Sun King is an unthinkable act and surely would plunge the world into shadow, Juran's death proved that the Sun had renounced his legitimacy. Yes, Sun had turned a shadow on the throne of Meridian, and it was Avad's light that drove the shadow out to the west, where it remains to this day. So was the cycle of things corrected, in this the first year of the reign of the 14th Sun King, the Radiant Avad. Okay. So that's more detail on Avad's takeover. The jury is still out about whether Avad is actually good or not. They're really hyping him up to have been a really good guy, but I don't know, sometimes stories don't like to have truly good people in power. The Mad Sun King. Another long one. Let me take a quick drink. Okay. Be warned, reader, that as a true account of the Mad Sun King Juran's acts, these glyphs are blotted in blood. Truly, the savageries committed can barely be recounted, so pray to the cleansing sun for yourself and the tailor of these tales. You will learn of the grievous wounds inflicted on foreign lands in the reaping of sacrifice, the Red Raids, for the Mad Sun King would order a whole generation cut from each village, so they might more willingly supply sacrifices and be harder pressed to fight field-fighting men on the next raid. The Utaru, who sought to appease with gifts of grain, were slaughtered in such number that upon the following harvest the maize grew black and blue with the blood of the dead. Against the Oseram, the Terror of the Sun piled the corpses of their fallen up to the walls of their villages so his kestrels might clamber upon the dead to enter. And in the valley of the barbarian Nora, terrors of the savage east, such savagery ensued that the trees were drooped with corpses hung as grim warnings. Should you wish to read of the Mad King's depredations against his own people, your curiosity will not go unsated. Within are accounts of the deaths of those sentenced to the Sun Ring, listed in such detail you might think it reported by their own chattering skulls once piled outside the city gates. Nor will you find a more harrowing account of his massacre of the Hunter's Lodge. Reading these accounts, you might imagine yourself among its brave hawks as they fought to the last, bloodying the sand from dawn till dusk. Or perhaps in the crowds as the loosed behemoths careened through the stands with the crashing of wood and bone. All this crazed bloodletting did the Mad Sun King take in with his pitiless gaze. Indeed, he would not even look away from the goring of his own son in that ring of death. Yes, fair-haired Cataman of the Dawn's Rising, so degraded and doomed for the crime of standing against his father. Such a true and complete account of the Mad Sun King Juran's miseries cannot be found in the history annals or heard from the reckoners of the Sun Priests. It is with a heavy heart that I scribe these events, leaving out no shocking detail, but my debt is to history and to you, brave reader. He seems like a nice guy, this Juran. A wholesome individual. Let's see. We have to return to Rivan. Let's set that as our first task. There's so many soldiers. Why are there so many soldiers?
The guard under the last kill. Oh, look.
Hello there.
A man named Nissan came to see me, and we came to an arrangement. I think many in Sunfall will benefit from it. All this from a stolen sword. As they say, follow the shadow, and you'll find the flame.
Cool.
Yes, I remember. Yes, trade.
All right, I have all of these now. Thank you for those.
I will leave you to the... I have all...
He has all the vessels. Cool.
No, I'm awake and alert.
That sounds like me. Okay, this guy buys, like... special modification box. I have to get stranded... figure, shackles, and necklace. I have no idea what those are. This is the one that buys... They sell scrap. I'm not really sure what the scrap is for.
Back from the wild. You ready? The Banuk will be happy to get their treasures back.
You're welcome.
Come on back if I pay. Welcome back. I'd have. Let's see what you.
I've given you all of them.
Good luck out. Excuse me, Outlander?
I've already given them to you. Alright, that guy up there wants...
I'm looking for Banuk artifacts.
This guy over here wants the flowers. I gotta turn those into...
Ah, you're back. Ah.
There you go.
Till we meet again. Everyone needs us. Hello again. I am always.
Alright, so he's also not gonna say anything special now that I got all the flowers for him.
Look forward to. Could you spare a moment to speak of the finer things?
Alright. So now we need to go to the Hunter's Lodge. Where is Talanah? Are you Talanah? I'm pretty sure that's you.
Talanah, always a pleasure. I see you've brought your pet.
Greetings, Sunhawk. I hereby sponsor Aloy of the Nora for membership in the Hunter's Lodge.
No, look at her. She's lowborn, a savage. This is beneath even you, Talanah.
She has fulfilled the requirements, and Sun King Avad decreed the lodge should be open to all. Would you like to take it up with him?
The word of the Sun King is indeed law. Even though it will bring ruin to the lodge, so be it. Do you, Aloy of the Nora, pledge to act rightly and nobly when in service to the lodge all the days to follow?
I do.
Members of the lodge, even though Tarkus is barely cold, I present to you Aloy of the Nora. Member and Thrush, what say you all?
To the hunt!
Sponsoring an outlander. While you make meaningless gestures, I'll be finding Red Maw.
This is a good day.
What's Redmaw?
Few have seen it. A thunderjaw marked by years of battle. Some say it still bears the marks of over a dozen hunters on its flank. How many it has trampled along the way, we may never know. When members go hunting and never return, we often blame Redmaw. But to me, it's more than legend. It's the only machine that will unseat Assis. My sponsor nearly had it, but he didn't make it.
I'm sorry.
Tarkus sponsored me out of loyalty to my family. He was my last link to them, besides the lodge itself. I have to unseat Assis.
I know why I hate Assis. Why do you?
My family has always boasted members in the lodge. My father and brother were both hawks. Assis let their sacrifice be forgotten.
What sacrifice?
They died in the massacre. They should be honored as hawks. Instead, Assis will not let anyone mention it.
How did your family come to be members of the Lodge?
Karja noble houses have sent sons to the Lodge for generations. Because they needed another place to lord over the commoners. I want to change that. The idea that someone is worthy or not by virtue of birth alone. Everyone thinks they have me pegged as soon as they hear Talanah Khan Padish. I hate that.
I understand. My whole life I lived as an outcast from the Nora. They would have been the first to say I wasn't one of them. Yet as soon as I leave the sacred lands, everyone calls me Aloy of the Nora. It should be Aloy despite the Nora.
I didn't know. I'll remember that.
What happened?
Didn't we just hear about this?
King Jiran's paranoia knew no bounds. He sent thousands of innocents to die in the Sun Ring. When the Hawks of the Lodge called for him to stop the slaughter, he threw them in the ring too. Yet when the machines attacked the condemned, more Hawks leapt into the ring to defend them. And my father and brother were among them.
I'm so sorry. What happened to the men in the Sun Ring?
They died fighting. If you wish to hear the story, Legan can tell it better. He saw it with his own eyes. I did not. The morning of the massacre, my father told me to meet him outside the city. He told me they were planning an escape. I waited for hours until a message came from my father. I had to leave the city. So I fled when I should have fought by his side.
He didn't want you to die with them.
Nor would he want their names forgotten. Especially by the man who benefited most from their deaths, Assis. Now that you're Thrush, you should improve your reputation. Why don't you hunt down a Thunderjaw and a Stormbird?
You want me to go trophy hunting?
You're not just any Thrush. You're mine. And you better make me look good.
But what about Red Maw?
I will find him. And when I do, I expect you to be there.
Nice. Alright, so now they want me to go kill a Stormbird and a Thunderjaw. That's gonna go great. Where's Legan? Is Legan this guy that was chilling out like over here? No, that's Malesh. Legan's not the guy who was at the door, is he? Oh, it is.
2 new thrushes in one day. Makes a hawk proud.
There's another one.
Who else just became a Thrush?
Arctic. I see him rising to the top very quickly. He reminds me of myself at his age.
What will you say when I bring in a Thunderjaw trophy?
That's a wonderful goal. Perhaps you can have Arctic give you some tips.
Do you know where Red Maw is?
I do not. Rumor of it spreads quickly within the lodge. As soon as it is spotted, it disappears again.
Can you tell me what happened during the massacre?
A terrible time. King Jiran purged loyal subjects and traitors alike throughout the Sundom. He even called out members of our lodge.
Why?
Some spoke out against the killing. And when the soldiers came for them, we all objected. And for that crime, those who were not arrested were forced to watch our comrades murdered in the Sun Ring. I shouldn't say more.
Please, tell me what happened that day in the Sun Ring.
Normally, victims of the Sun Ring fell within minutes as the crowd cheered their deaths. But not with our hawks. They stood alone against wave after wave of machines. Hours passed, the men taking turns fighting as the others rested. The crowd's mood turned, rallying around our men. Some of them left, their bloodlust unsated. We members stayed and watched till nightfall.
What happened in the Sun Ring at nightfall?
The sun had set, and only firelight and the glow from the machines lit the ring. It was then the court released a behemoth. Several hawks at once jumped into the ring to fight alongside the condemned. They had snuck in their weapons. wish I had as well. The machine didn't discriminate. It crashed into the stand, devastating spectator and fighter alike. It was a slaughter.
And how did the battle in the Sun Ring come to an end?
Talanah's father climbed atop a behemoth and with one well-placed spear destroyed it, just as a second knocked him to his death. Her brother and the others fought this second behemoth, falling one by one as they put themselves between the beast and the stands. And so we and the spectators were saved. Those who had once cheered for their deaths thanked the dying men for their very lives.
What a brave end. And how terrible that no one speaks of it.
I must say I'm surprised by your achievements, bringing in a stalker already.
Save your surprise. I'm just getting started.
All right, let's go find Arctic. You might actually have something useful about the birds, particularly. Oh, hi! I found him immediately.
So you're a Thrush too now, but you've only gotten a Stalker trophy, while I've already bagged a Thunderjaw. I ain't done well enough. It's probably better for you to stop now, you know, before you tackle something you can't handle.
Wow. Thanks for that. I appreciate it. Also, screw you. So I want to go to... Is it the Sun Furrows? I think it's the Sun Furrows. This is the one that has the Thunderjaw in the middle of it, with the Ravagers around it. And my plan is to hijack as many of these Ravagers as I can and have them take out the Thunderjaw for me. That will be the easiest way I can think of to take out the Thunderjaw. Now for the Stormbird, that scares me. Because the Thunderjaw I've dealt with. I'm familiar with it. Stormbirds are presumably worse than the Glinthawks, and I have enough trouble with the Glinthawks. Although, I think the second Stormbird I came across, there was a Ravager nearby, so I might be able to take I could either hijack the Ravager, or I could take the gun off the Ravager and use that to shoot the Sunbird, or both, even. Alright, but let me confirm that this is the one with the Thunderjaw. Yes, it is. All right, let's get this Ravager.
Thunderjaw. The cauldrons have taught me enough to avoid it.
I don't want the other Ravager on me. There should be another Ravager over here. I don't see it anywhere, though. The other Ravager came over here and got killed by mine. Where's the Thunderjaw's weapon that I dislodged from it? Ow. Get back to being overridden, please. Ouch. Whoa. Alright, I'm gonna let my Ravager do as much damage as it can, and then I should be able to finish off the Thunderjaw with the gun. The Ravager's doing pretty good though, but I don't think he's gonna get him down. Rest in peace, Ravager. You did good. Nice. All right, we have our Thunderjaw trophy. Now, the scarier part, the Stormbird trophy.